Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. You're going to be amazed by how many chart analysts today started warning that the price of XRP is imminently going way, way higher than it is right now. And I'm talking about both the XRP USD chart as well as the XRP BTC chart. And so I'm going to share with you perspective, commentary and analysis from 12 different XRP chart analysts in this very latest Moon Lambo hot jam. And you will see that despite the notable volatility, let's say, over the last couple weeks in crypto land, despite even the fact that Bitcoin got in the upper 90,000s and XRP got as low as about $2.09, depending on where you're looking. Despite all of that, the best is yet ahead. That's what the analysts that I follow are saying. And I'm telling you, none of them are backing off from their predictions that XRP is going to be hitting double digits. In fact, a lot of analysts think that could be getting on the higher end closer to $30 before this cycle is over. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, as I record this video, it is 8:11 p.m. Central Time, Monday, November 10th, 2025. XRP is $2.52. Bitcoin just shy of $106,000. And yeah, it's been a good Monday. It's definitely been a good Monday. Mark it up. It's good to see some green here. XRP 24-hour high of $2.57. Bitcoin got as high as just over $107,000. Just a little. I guess it was probably about an hour ago. What time was that? Yeah, 7:25 p.m. Okay, so like about 45 minutes ago. Also, I wanted to just mention this. I shared a post on X. I'm not going to read it for the sake of time here, but today is a special day for me because today marks my 8th year being in crypto. And so 8 years ago today, I purchased the only 3 coins that were available on Coinbase. After setting up my account, I bought Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin in that order for no particular reason. It was that order. That's just what I did. And it wasn't until 1 week after that that I purchased my first altcoin that was not on Coinbase. And that, of course, was XRP. I spent pretty much that whole week researching it and some other coins, but mostly XRP. And I was already sold. I was like, obviously I knew I still had a lot more research to do, but I had already learned enough to that point to think, wow, this is rather compelling. What do you know? A cryptocurrency that's functionally useful. And I got to tell you, honestly, and this is what I find so empowering about being in crypto. Regular people like myself, because there's nothing special about me. I do not have I don't have a finance degree or anything like that. I'm just a regular dude. The most empowering thing about all of this is regular people like you and me, we can become very, very wealthy just by having broad exposure to the crypto asset class and just waiting. That's it. And so investing in crypto, including XRP, is the best financial decisions I've made in my entire life. And don't have a defeatist attitude. Even if maybe you're brand new to crypto and you have this attitude of, oh, it can't happen for me. Yes, it can. Shut up. Shut up with that stupid attitude. That's defeatist. Yes, you can. Now, it is up to you to not mess it up. You have to have broad exposure and hold for a long time, but you can make it. And one reason to believe that we're absolutely going up is that the McRib is back. That's right. McDonald's McRib. It's coming back starting tomorrow. And so there is this chart shared by Cryptos Are Us. Share this with their 295,000 followers on X. You can see that when the McRib returns, the price for Bitcoin rockets, and you know XRP is going to follow with it. I love this. Okay, let me just be clear here. Correlation does not necessarily mean that there is causation, but I think this is funny. So there you go. That's the reason to be bullish. The McRib is back, and you can see what happened previously when the McRib came back. Bitcoin went on a tear. You know alts are going to follow. Gotta love it. Here's a post from Ryan Dietrich. He's a chief market strategist at Carson Group, and he simply wrote, the S&P 500 is less than 1% from an all-time high. The amount of fear and anger we are seeing is truly off the charts and quite bullish from a contrarian point of view. And isn't that interesting? You've got traditional finance, the stock market here, hanging out around all-time highs, and people are bitching up a storm and fearful? Isn't that interesting? And you're seeing that same type of fear in crypto, although there's better reason for people to be fearful in crypto just because it's more volatile, But isn't that something? the more time passes, the more I'm thinking that there's a really good chance that Raoul Paul's correct and that this market cycle really is extending into Q1 or Q2 of next year. I mean, take a look at this post from the blockchain backer. This morning he posted, "Happy 4-year anniversary from the 2021 top." So I'll just say, either we're entering a bear market right now if 4-year cycle theory still is a thing, or this one's actually extending. And I'm going with, I think it's extending. I do not think that this is over. And there are lots of reasons as to why. I'm not going to rehash it in this video, but yes, there are very real reasons as to why this market cycle is going out further than ever before. It's no longer a 4-year cycle, it's now 5 years. There's also this post from on-chain analytics firm Sentiment. They're just highlighting the top coins that are trending right now, and XRP is one of them. Well, how about that? And for the sake of time, I'm not going to read this post, any portion of it. But yeah, XRP absolutely getting some love, partially having to do with positive XRP XRP ETF news. And it's a virtual certainty that Spot XRP ETF, the first one ever, is going to go live in 3 days. We need now don't technically know for sure, but for reasons I've highlighted in previous videos, yeah, that's probably going to happen because there's at least one firm, Canary Capital, that has adjusted on October 24th. They adjusted their filing with the SEC to remove the delay in amendment, which sets a 20-day timer, and it can automatically go live after that 20-day period. So I'll be surprised if it doesn't. I don't think the SEC is going to put a stop to it. Then there was this from Crypto Insight UK. He slapped down a fractal here, and he's still targeting, looks like close to what, $16 to $18 per XRP. It's not crazy. I mean, another post, like, he even thinks it's possible. He's made it clear that he thinks it's possible XRP could hit as high as even $30. But so this would be more conservative, but it ain't crazy, folks. It definitely is not. I don't know if it's going to hit. I don't make price predictions myself. I just admit, like, I don't know where it's going to go. I just believe, over enough time, it's going to, price is going to go up. I'm like the rest of you guys. But perhaps sooner than later. Here's another post from Crypto Insight UK. He wrote here, XRP dominance daily, putting in a solid candle right now. Look at this strength. Look at that candle. This is the market cap XRP dominance percentage chart, and it was up when he posted this just this afternoon. It's at 4.37%. That's actually a pretty big tick up. I mean, just yesterday, last time I looked at this anyway, we were barely above 4%. So that's pretty substantial, actually. And that's why visually it looks the way that it does. A lot of analysts here, as you'll see. Just sit tight. I've got a lot of coverage from XRP analysts in this video. But you see, they think it's heating up. They think it's coming back to life here. And that's what's so fascinating. It's like anytime I see the same or similar posts from a ton of analysts all at the same or about the same time, that always catches my attention, because usually when that happens, whatever the analysts think is going to likely occur, it does usually. Not always, but they're all thinking XRP's waking up here, it seems. Here's a post from a popular analyst, Kaleo, 729,000 followers on X. He wrote here, XRP BTC ratio is starting to break out. Now, it's interesting seeing that he's acknowledging that, because this guy hates XRP. He suffers from the affliction known as XRP derangement syndrome, but I can appreciate the intellectual honesty in seeing that the XRP BTC pair looking pretty damn good right now. He's not the only one that's noticing it, though. Here's a post from ChartNerd. It says, XRP against its Bitcoin pair is breaking out of its descending resistance. The next line of defense to break is horizontal resistance, the red line right here. Higher low likely to form here. This means the USDT pair could come back in the short term unless the resistance is melted through. So another analyst noticing that, and then he also, this is also from ChartNerd, he is insisting, he's really sticking with these double-digit price targets. On the conservative side, he wrote here for XRP price, $8 would be conservative, $13 doable, and $27 per XRP would be a blow-off top. And so you can see he's indicating that he thinks all three of those are plausible. And I gotta acknowledge, like, none of that sounds crazy to me. I don't know. Again, I'll say again, I don't know what price is going to get hit. I don't know where XRP peaks this market cycle. But and so maybe the truth somewhere in between. But so, like, what if it is 13, 14, 50 bucks? But this is what I keep seeing from analysts. They are not budging just because of the volatility that we've seen, even the negative volatility over the last couple of weeks. And even after the liquidation event, October 10th, a month ago. Can you believe it's been a month since that happened? Time flies. But they're not adjusting their perspectives based on that, because it doesn't break the higher time frame. It doesn't break the charts. Volatility is normal in crypto. And so he also wrote here, happy with any of the three. I mean, is asking for a 10x too much from such prices? You decide. Well, no, it's not asking too much. That happens. That stuff like that happens in crypto all the time. That is not crazy to speculate about. Here's a post from Chart Analyst CW, another XRP BTC chart, and he says the XRP BTC chart is nearing a breakout of the convergence. This breakout means the start of a real rally. And so I don't think it's coincidence that tons of the analysts that I follow today started saying stuff like that. Isn't that interesting? Because the chart's showing signs of life right now. You can clearly see it in a number of different ways. Here's another one from CW. He posted this morning, short positions on XRP have been dead. Yeah, well, maybe don't short the, a cryptocurrency that offers some of the greatest utility that there is in the entire crypto space. Maybe that. I mean, you guys do whatever you want. I'm not telling you what to do. But it does sound risky, don't you think, to be shorting a coin that's as useful as XRP? Because the fundamentals for XRP have never been stronger. We know that we haven't had alt season yet, so if that's coming, are you that sure that it's going to go down? I mean, okay. You do you, girl. You do you. Here's a post from Charting Guy. XRP ETH held support, now going to go for a higher high, in my opinion. So here's another chart, XRP ETH pair, looking pretty solid there. And he's not the only one that noticed that. Chart Analyst Zoom noticed the same damn thing. He says XRP ETH currently attempting a breakout after the consolidating for 3 months in the red zone. Break this level and expect XRP ETH to make a move to the golden zone, where it should find resistance again. So, do you see what I was saying at the outset of the video? There are so many analysts that today are like, yeah, XRP look good. Definitely tons of analysts with that sentiment. Here's another one, just from X-Force Global. He posted this last night. He says, XRP. I still think there is an extremely high chance that we are still going to hit our cycle targets of around $15 to $30 per XRP this cycle. I'll say again, that's not crazy to speculate about. We'll see where we get. That stuff like that happens in crypto all the damn time, though. Look, if we're going to have a proper alt season, you tell me why it's not reasonable to speculate about that range. Because I just don't find it remotely. I've been in the space 8 freaking years as of today. I'm telling you, I've lived through tons of pumps for tons of different coins of that caliber. In XRP, absolutely. I mean, think of last market cycle. Last market cycle, XRP bottomed at like 10 cents, quite literally. And it did a 20x from there. It went to $2 while it was under attack from the SEC. So now that it's no longer under attack and there's way more money in the space, more will be sloshing through. You tell me we can't get into double digits? I don't find that compelling. Anyone that says that, I just don't find the argument compelling. Here's a post from Chart Analyst Crypto Wizard. It says, prep for higher. One thing XRP has ever asked you for is to be patient. The symmetrical triangle broke and XRP exploded to new highs. It's now trading in a rectangle pattern, preparing for liftoff. Patience pays. And by the way, almost all of these posts are from today. I didn't mention that in some of these that I'm sharing with you, but you can see it on the screen. It just happened to be the case that tons of analysts are like, yeah, it's preparing for liftoff. It's so, I understand. It's always possible the market could pull back first. In fact, one analyst that I'm going to share perspective with you from thinks that could happen. But that's the outlier perspective, actually, out of the analysts that I follow. Here's Chart Analyst Ether National. It says, the calm before the eruption. When XRP moves, it melts faces, just like it always does. And yeah, when it moves fast. So I won't be surprised, like, when XRP does finally begin its final thrust upward, you may only have a few weeks. That would be historically normal. You had about 3 weeks in the 2017 to early 2018 bull run. Last cycle, you only had, I think, closer to like 2 weeks. So once it starts going, that's it. And then you hit the top, and that's all she wrote. So we'll get our opportunity. I still believe it, but I just hope you guys, if you're a person that's intending to sell, I just hope you have a strategy in place as far as how you're going to realize those profits. Probably having lots of exchange accounts wouldn't hurt. Just saying. Here's a post from the great Matsby from this morning. He says, XRP has one of the most bullish setups in all of crypto, yet people still want to call it a shitcoin because they can't stay objective. The chart is literally telling you it's not. And that's in line with what I keep seeing from all the analysts that I follow. XRP is showing tremendous strength. And it has been throughout this year. And it's true, there's been a lot of consolidation for XRP this year. But we did hit multiple new all-time highs, including in July. And the fact that it's doing that, look at where it's been for most this year. We just had a massive move in November of last year. It's not like it's weird that it spent most of this year consolidating after rampaging higher the way that it did. Because look, over a span of just like a few weeks, XRP went from 49 cents to $2.90 in early December of last year. So the fact that there's been some time to accumulate mixed in with some new all-time highs, not exactly surprising. In fact, you'll love to see it. Here's a post from Casey Trades. I'm not going to read this whole post just for the sake of time, but this is the bearish post that I was talking about, if you even want to call it that. In the short term, she's warning that you could see XRP go back to test $2.41. Also warning that Bitcoin could go back down and test $97,000 or even $94,000 of support. She's the only one that's saying this stuff that I've seen. So usually I find when there's minority opinions, I mean, sometimes minority opinions are correct. I acknowledge that. And I'll say credit where it's due if she ends up being right. Usually minority opinions they don't pan out. They just don't. And no analyst is perfect anyway. So we'll see here. But even then, she's not arguing that it's over. Ultimately, onward and upward, even if that's the case. But I just thought I'd highlight this because I like to balance things out. It's hard to find bearish posts about XRP right now. They almost don't exist. That's what I'm saying. Here's a post from Altcoin Vector. When they write here, when Bitcoin dominance tops, Ethereum bottoms. Since Ethereum's all-time high versus Bitcoin in late August, its decline has been steady, showing no clear signs of a bottom yet. But Bitcoin dominance is showing signs of exhaustion, hinting that Ethereum may be nearing stabilization. This will confirm the early stages of rotation, capital flowing back from Bitcoin into Ethereum and alts. Yeah, so I'm going to keep watching that, of course, but the idea that the cycle is going to end without Bitcoin dominance breaking down dramatically, I mean, come on. It's going to crater. ETH's going to take off, and if history rhymes with itself, ETH will be about the first to go, and then eventually people are going to take profit from that. It's going to rotate into other coins, including XRP, other large caps, and you get an alt season. It'd be crazy to think we don't get that for the first time ever in history because reasons. Here's a post from Crypto Wizard. It says, free fall inbound? Downside means upside for alts. Bitcoin dominance closed the week with a shooting star, rejecting the trend line and liquid resistance again. This came after filling 50% of the long wick. Weakness from here will be extremely arousing. That's a fun way to word that. So he thinks that Bitcoin dominance is going to ultimately crater here. And that is the popular opinion, and I'd say for good reason. That's with the historic norms. So you should expect that. And then there's this one, and this one gets me all hot and bothered. Look at this one. This is from Chart Analyst Matthew Hyland. Bitcoin weekly Bollinger Bands reached the most extreme levels in its entire history. Monthly Bollinger Bands are also at the most extreme levels in Bitcoin's entire history, too. Okay, now this metric, I talked about a ton last year because it was true of XRP. XRP had the tightest Bollinger Bands it had ever had in its history, and that is a signal that precedes a massive move. Now, that doesn't tell you if the move will be up or down, but last year I insisted when it breaks, I was like, my bet is that it goes up because we're in a bull market. Well, I still think we're in a bull market, so tightest Bollinger Bands in history. When Bitcoin goes, it's going to go. It's going to go in a final parabolic rally. This is all lining up perfectly. And then you're going to have that alt season. We're going to get our opportunity as XRP holders too. That's why this matters. So, yeah, I think it makes sense to be a bit excited right now. How could you not be? I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.